complimenti and shout out to Mario Inter. Check out his YouTube channel. He's easily the funniest and the best entertainer online for YouTube for Inter. But hey, buongiorno and welcome to Inter Talks, where we are going to bring it to you in English right here and right now. Ragazzi, 2-0 against Cagliari. Another victory, and it's come at the right time. And we're just going to jump straight into it today because we have a very, very busy episode. We're going to be here reviewing the Cagliari match and also previewing the tough fixture against PSV Eindhoven in the Champions League. So welcome. Thanks to all who have subscribed and who are following. Thank you if you joined us this morning, Australian time, or in the evening anywhere else for our coverage of the Cagliari match. It was a really, really good fixture. So jumping straight into the match, not wasting any time, we won 2-0. And I got to say, it was probably the most collective performance from the boys this season, despite coming up against some superior opposition in Fiorentina, in Sampdoria, in Tottenham Hotspur. You know, we could have been forgiven for thinking that we might have taken this match against Cagliari more aggressively and run out winners by a more emphatic margin. But to be honest, all the boys played really well today. We didn't really look like we came out of second gear, but it was great to see the team fight right until the very, very end and look like we were in control for most of the match. I feel as though in the past, especially last season and the season before, if Inter did go up 1-0, we were always on the edge of our seats until the end. But tonight we looked a lot more comfortable. So we won 2-0. Altogether, the match was fairly even in the first half. I'd say that both teams had their chances in the first half, but Inter did look like the better side. We saw ourselves go ahead in the 10th minute or 11th minute, whatever it was, I can't remember, via Lautaro Martinez, his first goal, and Matteo Politano wrapped it up in the last minute of regulation time. So both of them got their first goals for Inter, which was really good to see. We'll move into the player ratings now, and basically everybody had a decent performance today. We made 5 changes to the starting 11, which was a huge change in my opinion. And I think it was really good to see the structure of the team stay solid throughout the 90 minutes because it's not easy to change 5 of your starters and keep the lineup rotating at the rate that we have and at the rate that we did this morning. So I was very, very impressed. Semir Handanovic received a 7 for the ratings on SempreInter. He was good today. He didn't have too much to do in both halves, but, when called upon, he was fine. However, I must make a comment. I can't stand seeing the ball at his feet. It needs to be in the hands all the time. I'm very, very uncomfortable with the way that he plays the ball out. I don't think he has enough confidence on the ball. And if the ball is at his feet, I would rather him clear it into touch straight away than even attempt to play another stupid 8 or 9 yard pass directly in front of him. I mean, come on, this is football 101. We don't need to do that if you are Semir Handanovic. Dalbert Enrique, our boy, Dalbert. What a performance. He was actually fantastic today. The first time I can ever hold my hand up and say Dalbert had a fantastic performance for Inter. So we were really happy to see him get back into form today. João Miranda was really good as well at centre-back. I think he looked a little shaky in the first 15 to 20 minutes, but overall he took to the game really well. Stefan de Vrij partnered him in centre-back and once again was solid. I don't think he's put a foot wrong this season domestically, and the fact that we got him on a free transfer just makes it a whole lot sweeter. He's turning out to be the bargain buy of the Mercato for me in Italy. Danilo D'Ambrosio backed up his splendid performance against Fiorentina with another good performance today. I think having him play 2 or 3 games consistently while starting 2 or 3 games consistently while Simi Versalico is out has actually worked out well for Danilo, as he's really re-grasped some form that we haven't seen in a long time or ever for some fans. Roberto Gagliardini came back into the lineup and was probably the worst performer for the Inter side today. He didn't look comfortable on the ball. He misplaced some passes, was dispossessed quite easily as well. And, a couple of times he looked static in midfield, even on the defensive end. There were a couple of times where Cagliari played a few poor passes and, he'd lunge at the ball quite poorly or quite delayed, or it'd go through the side of his foot. It's not to say that it's a worrying performance, because I think Roberto will come back into the starting lineup soon enough domestically and perform well with Brozovic next to him. I think that he was asked to do a little bit today and he just looked a little bit shaky. So no need to worry too much, especially since Borja Valero continued to show that it was the right decision to keep him on board this season. He started his first match this morning and played really well. He looked like he had a fair bit of energy in him, and we did see his legs start to run short around the 65th, 70th minute, but then Matias Vecino was brought in for him, which was a good decision by Spalletti. I think Vecino came on and held his ground quite well. But, Borja Valero was fine. He was distributing the ball as he can do very, very well. So it's good to know that we have these players who, when called upon against, no disrespect to Cagliari, but in a season where we have matches like Fiorentina and PSV either side of each other, we need to have these players who are ready to step it up and step it in and be able to overtake the reins and at least contribute something to the overall performance, and that's what Borja did today. Raja Nainggolan wasn't too bad. I think we all have a lot higher expectations of him, obviously, and so does Coach Spalletti, because today he put in another 6.5 performance. And I agree, 6.5 is a good rating for Nainggolan, but we want to see him put those performances in where he dominates, where he's the core perpetrator of all of our attacks. And today, once again, he was more just like a tenacious figure in midfield. And against a team like Cagliari, he did not struggle at all. There was plenty of times where he made disposals, where he got around players, where in the 50-50 challenges he came off better and was able to quickly flick the ball to somebody else. But, today it wasn't a bad performance by Raja Nainggolan as well. But we are looking for a little bit more, as Spalletti said. Candreva was not able to continue whatever positive form many fans think he has carried the last few matches. I hold my hand up right now and say I'm still very, very anti-Antonio Candreva. I didn't really compliment him much in his previous two performances because I don't believe that just because he was nowhere near as bad as he was recently that he should be complimented for it. He's been slightly better, but still not good enough, and he receives a 5.5 from SempreInter today, which was the right rating. Matteo Politano scored his first goal today, and it was fantastic. I thought he was great. There's no reason to ever start Candreva over Politano. He received a 7 with his crisp left foot finish at the end that went in off the upright. I think it may have taken a slight deflection as well, but primo goal for Politano, and for Martinez, who also receives a 7. It's refreshing to have someone with the finishing ability of Icardi. Maybe not yet, but he's got a great finishing ability, but also his link-up play and distribution and ability to carry the ball in tight areas is a lot better than Mauro as well. We had a few players come off the bench today. Brozovic, 6.5. Perisic, 6.5. Two great performances because they were brought on with about 25 to 30 minutes left, and when they came on, we looked better. We looked rejuvenated, like it was staying stagnant at 1-0. We didn't look uncomfortable, but as soon as they were injected, it was almost like we solidified our place to win. The VAR decision to disallow the goal for Cagliari was the correct decision, and that's the correct way that VAR should be used. The ball goes in the back of the net. There is a reason to believe that there is a suspicion. You go, you check, disallowed. It was made quickly. The decision was made quickly this morning to overturn the goal, which was refreshing. We didn't have to wait for 2.5 minutes, and then we carried on with the match, which was refreshing to see. So overall, a great win, 2-0, and on a day where both Napoli and Lazio dropped points, we are sitting in a much healthier position, back in 4th place, and that's where I think we will end this match day. I don't think anyone can overtake us, even if Fiorentina win by 4 or 5 goals. Head-to-head, we'll have the better record. So happy days there. Time to look ahead to the PSV preview. It won't be that long, just a couple of minutes, because we'll still be waiting for some information. So let's just have a little bit of a background on our opponent. PSV, start of the competition, many fans made the false understatement that they might be the whipping boys of the group. They won the Dutch league comfortably last year. They are head and shoulders a better side than teams like Ajax and Feyenoord Rotterdam at the moment. They've gone 7 wins from 7 in the Dutch league, scoring 23 goals. In the meantime, they went up 2-0 again this morning, and they've had a fantastic season already, beating Ajax 3-0 at home. Lozano, De Jong, Pereira, Hendricks, all these players are contributing well for them this season, and I, for one, think it's going to be a very hard match in a hostile environment in Eindhoven. It's definitely not easy to go over there and pick up 3 points, especially in a side that's buzzing and definitely wants 3 points after being absolutely crunched 4-0 by a 10-man Barcelona on match day 1. I guess the silver lining is that if Inter can go into this fixture, buckle down hard and get a decent result, if we can get 3 points here and Barcelona can do over Tottenham at the new camp, then we'd basically be looking at a 6-6-0-0 ranking, where we're trying to get all points possible in this Champions League campaign. It would be so valuable. So I think overall, the boys, the Ragazzi, need to go there hard. And even if we squeeze out a draw away, it would not be a terrible result considering how we started our campaign against Tottenham. So I'm going to go and predict that Inter do come out firing and we take the momentum from the first match against Tottenham into this match. But I am going to be conservative and predict that the match ends 1-1. And even though we would love a win, I think 1-1 will still be a respectable result, and it will give us the opportunity to welcome them back to the San Siro with open arms and to get the win there and solidify our place above them in the group. So that's it from us today, guys. Thanks for tuning in. Be sure to like and subscribe and keep tuning in and sharing with all your friends. Inter 2, Cagliari 0. We look forward to seeing you again afterwards for the PSV review, where Raul will be tuning you in for that one and also previewing our next match domestically, which is a huge one. Just quietly, I think you guys know what it is. 2-0. Forza Inter. Ciao ragazzi.